the chest.
Apparently my pawn here in Dragon's Dogma is finding just. So I wanted to talk about Project Epic. If you guys aren't familiar with Project Epic, it's a WoW private server that's going to be coming out. Let me fix my microphone here. Don't know why I was trying to mute my mic there. That was kind of interesting. Christopher, hey, how's it going? So basically, I just wanted to talk about the new private server, the new World of Warcraft private server that's coming out this Friday. I believe it's going to be 2 p.m. for me in the US. The server is located in, pretty sure, in London. And the server project is called Project Epoch. And this is their website. And I think the best way to look at this private server is to really look at the features, the custom content. And I think it's going to be it's basically a Classic Plus server. So we only have one other true, really Classic Plus server that's been out there for a long time, that's been fairly successful, which is Turtle WoW. And this one I've been monitoring for a couple years, actually, and I've been kind of excited about it because I think it does have the chance to be a really good server. And it's actually running on a Wrath of the Lich King client, but they're trying to basically make it feel like a vanilla experience. So when you read through the features of the game, it's pretty interesting. So we're gonna go through these one by one because I think some of them are pretty interesting. Some of them I don't know. I don't think I agree with all of them, but I think a lot of them I do agree with. So you can see you played one of the betas, but got annoyed by everything in Durnhold Keep being elite. Actually, I didn't. I haven't played any of the betas, Chris. So this will be the first time for me, and I actually like hard content. So things being elite, to me that's a good thing because that means it's challenging. It means it's not you just can't face roll content. So, but where's Durnhold Keep? That's the one over in. Let's see, it's the one over by South Shore, right? On the way to South Shore. Why would that annoy you, though? Why would that annoy you of things being elite? I see that as a good thing. But as we, looking at Project Epoch, I mean, the client is a 3.3.5 client. So you can go there right now. You can set up your server. If I start up the Epoch launcher, right? Someone's messaging me on Discord. Hold on one second. Okay, nothing. Yeah, if I launch the Epoch client here and I hit play, currently the servers aren't online because the beta starts on Friday. But actually the name reservation's up, so you can go in and create your characters. You can go in and create characters right now if you want to reserve character names. So I've actually gone in and just really quick picked some names that I like. I've always used the name Cheryl, Vale, Faith, Shady, Rhapsody, Cute. These are all names that I like that I've used previously. But you can go in here and we can create these, and you can see you can have like a human hunter, which is a pretty cool thing. But we'll get back to the human hunter. I've never played a human. I mean, I'm sure I've played a human hunter before, but it's been a very long time. I don't even remember I don't remember if they even added human hunter in Wrath. If that was even a thing, I don't think it was. I don't think they added human hunter in Wrath of the Lich King. I'm pretty sure they did not. I don't remember when human hunter was even added into WoW, but it's here. In Project Epoch, human hunter is going to be a thing, just like undead paladin is going to be a thing. So pretty cool. So if you look at the features of Project Epoch, like I said, it's basically a 3.3.5 client. Basically, it is Classic Plus project, meaning that they're going to basically try to make it like, hey, Jose, what's up? No, they do not, and we'll get to that. But Classic Plus, when you talk about Classic Plus, what Classic Plus means is it's basically like a vanilla type experience, but that they've added custom content to the game. So like you level 1 to 60, and then after that, there's they've added custom quests to the game. They've added maybe some new dungeons to the game. They've maybe added some different quest givers, maybe some different like professions and different things. Just different things are added to the game. But it's still Classic Plus. It's still basically trying to keep the same feel of the original game. So you're trying to make the leveling experience feel like that old kind of slow leveling experience. So it's interesting. So when you look at the features of Epoch, max level is 60. But what's interesting about that is that the max level is 60, but you're getting 61 talent points. So you're getting the amount of talent points you would get if you were in the Burning Crusade, which would be level 70. So that's really interesting. And the other thing is that the talent trees, and I don't think it, yeah, see, the abilities and talents have been restored to TBC state. So most of the talent trees, now, unfortunately, there is not an Epoch talent calculator yet. At least I haven't seen one. I'll ask in the Discord here. You know what? Let's ask in the Discord. I don't think there is one, because it's basically like Burning Crusade, right? But let's go to the Discord really quick. All right. So that's interesting, and it's interesting that you're going to have 61 talent points. But like I said, if you're looking, it's going to be more of a Burning Crusade talent. So let's read through this really quick. So 61 talent points are available at maximum level. The additional extra points are distributed across your level range. So I don't know exactly what that means. You're going to be getting more talent points than you normally would. In 1 to 60, normally you get 51. So they're probably going to do something like maybe the first 10 levels you get a talent point, right? I mean, if you're level 60, you just maybe you'd start off the game with, you basically get a talent point at every level, I guess. And maybe you start off with 1, so that would be 61. Experience required per level is restored to vanilla state. So this is a big one. I mean, basically it's a Wrath client. It's TBC talent trees, but the leveling pacing, the pacing of the leveling is vanilla pacing. So it's that vanilla, which again kind of goes to me anyway, when I think of Classic Plus, I think of a vanilla-like experience. All class abilities talents have been first restored to TBC state and then further modified from there. It says C-class sections. Now this is where you were asking, Christopher, are there going to be Draenei or Belf? Check this out. Pretty interesting. Death Knights, Blood Elves, and Draenei are being removed from this client, and they will never become available as a playable race. So they don't ever want to implement Death Knights, Blood Elves, or Draenei. Now I'm not really sure. I can understand why they don't want to do Death Knights, just because Death Knights have always been kind of overpowered, so it kind of skews. I'm not really sure why they're so dead set on not having Blood Elves and Draenei. There must be something more to it than just, we want it to be like vanilla, So I'm not really sure why they decided to do that, because I don't think, to me, putting Blood Elves in there, maybe because Blood Elves are really TBC content, and maybe they didn't want to implement those storylines. I don't know. Maybe it was easier. It was easier for them, like less work to have to just gut them out. Chance to melee and spell crit restored. So all the stuff like combat rating formula, TBC state, HP MP regen formula restored to TBC state. Now, what's really interesting is they say that all these things are restored to a TBC state. Any plans to update talent calculate generator? So I am heard. Please. Please hear me. So apparently in the general, let's take a look. Okay, we'd spend more time updating a page like that at the moment than actually changing the classes. Once things settle down, we'll merge all info into a final state and should have a talent calculator. So they don't have a talent calculator currently, but it is something that they might do eventually, right? So that's fine, right? Please do not hate me. I am a robot. Is it too? People can be funny in Discord. So they're basing lore from the beginning point of RTS Game RPG book. Yeah, that's another thing. I don't know much about the lore yet, Funk. I don't know a whole lot about the lore yet. But yeah, unfortunately running Dragon's Dogma 2 in the background makes my machine lag a little. So restored shield block values. So, like I was going to say, all these things saying restored to TBC state. I got to tell you, I don't know the difference between vanilla state and TBC state. You know what I mean? Like, so when they say HP and MP regen formula restored to a TBC state, I would imagine that your MP and TBC regen faster than it did in vanilla. That would be my guess. I would imagine that HP also. Regen per point of spirit restored. Again, I think most of these probably are faster, but I don't know. TBC retcons a bunch of that stuff. Draenei not being broken, having spaceship. Oh yeah, I hate the spaceship. The whole like spaceship thing I really dislike, you know. So, what is this? With the time index. Do we dare click this link? Let's just pause it. Oh, the Ulduar Chronicles, World of Warcraft. Yeah, I don't know what this is. Ulduar. So remove the low level mana and health regen increases from Wrath. So, you know, in Wrath, apparently when you were really low on mana and health, you regen much faster. So they got rid of that and put it back. So that slows it down. But I still would imagine that HP and MP regen in TBC is probably faster than it is in vanilla. That would be my guess. Because, you know, in World of Warcraft, like a lot of MMOs, every expansion kind of nerfs the game and makes it easier, which I always hate. I always call it the noobification of the game. Like, just how, like, in World of Warcraft when they came out with the Burning Crusade, how, like, in Lakeshire, they didn't have the elite quest. There weren't elite quests anymore. Like, the quests you did in Lakeshire to kill those elite mobs in vanilla, well, in TBC, they weren't elite anymore. So they constantly would do things to the game that make the game easier, which I'm not a fan of. So, am I going to make a guild, or should we just roll an undead pally? Oh, are you going to, Chris? Are you going to roll an undead? Oh, you should appreciate the thumbnail of this stream, Chris. The thumbnail of this stream is a nod to the undead paladin. So, it was. Let's see if we got it here. Let's see if we can show you the image in its full size glory, right? So this is the thumbnail I put on this stream, and this was a nod to the undead paladins. So, what's up? Hey, what's up, Lost? For energy ticks in vanilla TBC, it was a flat amount gained every few seconds. In Wrath, it slowly regenerated like matter. Yeah, actually, yeah, energy for sure. Like, energy was weird. It actually, you know, Funk, the way it worked was kind of weird. Like, you'd wait. Like, I actually probably like the Wrath better. Although, you know, I mean, even though it doesn't really make a difference because it's probably the same amount. Because, like, for a rogue, your abilities, like, it takes 15 energy maybe to do, like, a Sinister Strike. So, if you're regenning, like, a little bit of energy in between, like, 10 energy and 30, you know, if you're like 25, maybe there's some extra abilities you can squeeze in there, but in most cases it's not a huge deal. But it's got to make a difference though in a rogue. But the rotations aren't going to be any different. So I don't know. It's one of the things I'd have to actually play test that out and see. So for keeping this game in more of a vanilla-like state and making people comfortable with playing their characters the way they're used to playing them, it makes perfect sense to leave the energy ticks vanilla-like or TBC-like if they were the same, Funk. That makes perfect sense, especially when you're talking about rotations. You know what I mean? You're talking about like rotations. Like if I'm rotating through abilities in Wrath, my rotations probably got modified a little bit. You know what I mean? So because of the way energy regened. Because I think I don't remember how it is in vanilla, but for a rogue, I think you get like 25 energy like every second or every so many seconds. It's like a chunk. right? Yeah, it's a new private server. Yeah, thank you, Christopher, for responding to Lost. Lost, it's a new private server that's coming out this Friday. It's called Project Epoch, and it's a Classic Plus server. And I was just kind of going through some of the custom content so you guys have an understanding of what they're offering. Um, it is going to be a 61 talent points you're going to have, but the max level is 60. The talent trees are TBC type talent trees. Not going to be exactly 100% TBC, but a lot of the stuff in the TBC talent trees are what you're going to see. The additional races they've added to the game: Undead Paladin, which is I've been asking for Undead Paladin forever, so that's awesome. Dwarf Shaman, yeah. So the Alliance has a Shaman. So basically, the Horde has a Paladin, the Alliance has a Shaman. So that's cool. Human Hunter I think is awesome, but later down I'll point out a thing that I think they should have done differently. But I'm super excited that there's a Human Hunter. Hey, what's up, Volker? How's it going, man? I mean, I like the Human Hunter. I think is the Human Hunter should let's be honest. The Human Hunter should have always been there, right? Like in every MMO we've ever played that has like human as a race and like elves and dwarves, usually humans are the ones that can play most of the races because they figure the human, the indomitable spirit. There's really no reason why they wouldn't be able to do like a hunter. Why not? Why would not a human not be able to be a hunter? That doesn't make sense. So always funny that I always thought it was funny there was no human hunter. So that you can play the human hunter, which I think is cool. Undead hunter, again, I think that's really cool. Dwarf mage, troll warlock, Tauren priest, and gnome priest. Cross faction grouping. This is a really good idea because especially on private servers, you never know how much population you're going to get. And if you can get cross faction grouping, especially for battlegrounds and PvP stuff, that's going to make those types of queues go a lot faster. So that's a really good thing. I think this server will probably be fairly popular. A lot of it depends on how well the changes they've implemented work, and I haven't played it yet. So I will be giving you guys, the people who watch my streams know that I'm pretty brutal. I'm very picky. I have like the things that I like in MMOs and the things I don't like, and I'm very quick to say I don't like this or I like this. I'm very brutal, and I'm pretty consistent. I don't think I'm inconsistent. I think it's, once you see me play enough, you'll know. Oh, he's not gonna like that. He's gonna like that. You know what I mean? New players will be entered into an introductory guild named Sprouts. So this is coming right out of Final Fantasy, sort of. Final Fantasy 14 has this. Once you reach level 20, you're automatically removed. So this is cool. I think this is always good. And there's lots of MMOs that do this, but I think Final Fantasy is one of the more popular ones for this. I think Guild Wars 2 has it too, doesn't it? And it's just good when people see you and they know you're like new. I think it does promote more people being nice to each other and friendly to each other. So I think that's a good thing. What really is going to make people friendly, and actually, one thing that was really interesting is Turtle WoW being a Classic Plus server. People in Turtle WoW are really friendly. The Turtle WoW community is actually really good. So if you guys have ever played on Turtle WoW, there's a lot of very friendly people in Turtle WoW. So I'm hoping that a lot of the friendly people from Turtle WoW come and play Project Epoch because I'm hoping we can kind of have that same, friendly nature. And a lot of the systems in here are pulled from Turtle WoW. There's a couple of them. So, modes like war mode within faction capitals, flag yourself for enforced PvP out in the world with a way to revert it back for a scaling fee. PvP kills in the world will have a chance to reward bloody coins that can be redeemed. This is really cool. This is new. I haven't seen this done in other private servers. I can't think of any private servers I've played for a while that has this type of system. So I like this a lot. This actually, I think anytime you have some sort of a mode, like a game mode, there has to be rewards for it. No one wants to like level with the Explorer's Contract, which slows down your leveling speed by like almost 50% because your experience is so much slower. No one wants to do this if there's no reward for it. And the reason people did it in Turtle WoW, did the slow mode, was that you got mounts. You got like a mount, or you got like a cosmetic sword. I mean, give people a reason to do it. Don't just say, oh, here's, like World of Warcraft is for example of how not to do it. Like WoW has like the hardcore mode, but when you reach the 60, what do you get for it? You don't get anything. It's not like they give you a mount. Or like in World of Warcraft, the official World of Warcraft hardcore servers, if they would have gave people a mount that was specific to hardcore mode, if you got to 60, so many more people would have done hardcore servers just because they would have wanted the mount. There's so many people that play WoW that want every single mount that ever existed, you know what I mean? So anyways, so war mode, this is really cool. I like this, that you can get these bloody coins that can be redeemed for combat item and cosmetics. It sounds like not gear though. Combat items to me sounds like, that almost sounds like consumables or food. I'm not sure. And then cosmetics is just, obviously cosmetics. Soul of Iron, same type of thing, Season of Mastery Influence. It's basically just a title. But the cool thing about this is your character is not deleted on death, but you must complete a walk of shame back to a city to be able to use it properly. That's interesting. So I guess maybe when you die, you can continue leveling as a non-Soul of Iron character, maybe. Then there's the Explorer's Contract, which is kind of like the slow mode in Turtle WoW, where basically the Steam Needle Cartels offer 50% reduced experience contracts before level 6 that cannot be switched off. So once you turn this on and you get past level 6, you can't turn it off, and your experience for everything probably across the board is going to be reduced by 50%. But you will get goodies and achievements as you level in this slow and steady manner. And of course, they word it this way because that's what it's called in Turtle WoW, slow and steady. And I think this is pretty cool. And one of the reasons I was curious about how long this beta was going to run was because of this. I thought, well, if the beta is long enough, maybe I'll do a slow and steady character just to see what rewards they give out. And someone did tell me that the beta was a month. So, All right. So, racials. Once at level 60, players will have the access to racial knowledge feature. This allows you to swap your racials to that of any other race. So, So some of the racials here are. Do they cover them here? These are the weapons. So here's basically the variety of weapon skill racials, and then here's which race gets which weapon racial. This is where I thought they kind of screwed up a little bit, because if you're going to tell me that you're going to allow a human to be a hunter, then I would have, in my mind, then the crossbow or the bow. Oh, wait a minute, I didn't look at crossbow. Hold on a second. No. The crossbow or the bow or the gun, one of those should have been usable by a human. But as you can see, they're not. And the reason I say that is a night elf can use a bow. So a night elf is going to get the bow racial. Your chance to critically hit with bows is increased by 1%. So the reason they should have given the human should have given them the crossbow or the gun. I would have given them the crossbow, since dwarves usually have the racial of guns. I would have given humans crossbow. That way, you have the people that are min-maxing won't all go night elf for hunters. They won't be like, well, I don't want to play a human hunter because I lose out on my bow crit. Because if you gave humans the crossbow, then you're going to get a better split of people playing humans versus night elves. So that was, I think, a mistake on their part. I would not have done that. Base racials were restored to function as they do in TBC. And this is interesting. Cannibalized and wisp forms no longer have any effect. They're just purely cosmetic now, which I thought was an interesting. I don't really know why they did that. I'm not really sure why they did that. I think leaving those alone would have been fine. I'm not really sure, but you can see right here, Night Elf Wisp form converted to purely visual, providing no speed bonus. I mean, to be honest, the speed bonus, it's not that big a deal, how big of a deal is it that you've got this, you can run faster while you're dead? It's not really groundbreaking, so really surprised that they made this change. But it does say that they have been given a new ability named Touch of Elune, so that's cool. I'd be curious what that is, probably some sort of buff. And then Undead Cannibalize has been reworked to purely be a visual. Again, this I don't really care for, and the only reason I could think that they would have done this is maybe they thought it was more of a toxic type of thing, where people killing other people in PvP, or, undead are always, they like to kill people in PvP and then get down on the ground and eat them. I don't know. But again, I think that these two, I'm a little unsure as to why they decided to do this. I don't think this was necessary. And then the following new cosmetic racials have been added. I actually like this one, the Human, the Banner of Heritage. I think this is really cool. Place a Kingdom of Stormwind banner at your feet, lasting for 3 minutes. I just think that's cool. I do like a little bit of RP here and there. Not a lot, but just a little, or just to, mess around when I'm waiting for battleground queues or something. I can throw a banner down and maybe talk up Stormwind for a few minutes or something. I don't know. So some of these are interesting. Special Brew provides a placeable keg of special ale for your allies to drink from. So there's some interesting cosmetic racials that they have. So I like that. Work while traveling when dead, you will ride in the embodiment of Logosh with this pack. That's interesting. Don a tribal totem on your back for 10 minutes. Your flight path routes throughout the world will take on the appearance of a gnomish gyrocopter. So those are cool. And then the changes for the classes, they're not really too in-depth. You guys can go through these if you want, but, Shaman, there's a few changes. Nothing. The Bloodlust heroes now affect the entire group. A lot of the buffs that normally would only affect, if you were in a raid and the raid's comprised of 3 groups, a lot of times if you were like a shaman or a druid and you threw up a buff, that it would only affect like the people in your 5-man group. It wouldn't do the whole raid. So they've changed a lot of those to buff the entire raid, which is, I don't remember when they implemented it. Well, they probably implemented it in TBC or Wrath Lich King. I don't remember which. So another example of that is down here with the Hunter, like aspect of the pack, aspect of the WoW now affects the entire raid group. Again, that's a good change. Hunter's Mark now displays the total amount of ranged power that is the aura is currently granting. That's kind of cool. Hunter's pets continue to use the Wrath Lich King talent menu, but what's interesting is they've been revamped to bring it closer into the abilities you would have gotten from the Burning Crusade pet training. So that's something that's going to be interesting, you know. So I think that's going to be interesting to see. And Hunter pets have retained their family skills from Wrath Lich King. Again, pretty interesting. Axes are available. Strain rogue players, new axe specialization, that's fine. Auras now affect tired. This is cool. Seal twisting window increases. So this is interesting. So they're actually specifically saying that you'll be able to seal twist. So, you know, seal twisting on a paladin, it's like if you have like if you go into retribution, for example, and you have, what's the seal called? I can't remember what it's called. But you have the seal that does like extra damage. What is it called? I can't remember. Hold on a second. I don't even know if it exists in Burning Crusade. Yeah. Oh, suffice it to say, if you have, there's one seal, basically, you have Seal of Righteousness, which basically when you hit it, when you put that up on a target, it increases the amount of holy damage. But also, when you judge with like Seal of Righteousness, it does extra damage. But Seal Twisting just means you're going to use one seal, which is going to give you a benefit. And right before you hit the target, you're going to switch the seal. Like right before the end of your swing, you're switching to a different seal, but you'll end up getting the benefit of the first seal you had plus the one you switched to. So basically, you're going to be able to get the advantage of both seals at the same time. And it's just, you know, it's just a juggling of those abilities. So you'll be using like a swing timer generally. And the fact that they increased the window from 400 milliseconds to 500 milliseconds is just going to make it easier for you to, you know, and honestly, it's really easy to do. It wasn't hard to begin with. So, but it really only mattered if you were using, if you were like Retribution, like if you were like Protection Paladin or like a Holy Paladin, you wouldn't really be doing Seal Twisting too much. And I'm not really going to read through all these. The most important thing here is that basically world buffs are going to be removed for raids, and I think this is awesome. One of the things I hate about classic World of Warcraft is I don't like the world buff meta. I've never liked it. It makes raids too easy, and so I'm really happy that these are being removed. So when you enter a raid, if you have any of these buffs, they will be removed from your character, and I think that's a great thing because, to be honest, most raiding is just too easy. I mean, I'm on a server, in a hardcore server, where we're running ZG raids with hardcore characters, and no one's dying. We're clearing the whole ZG raid without a single death on a hardcore vanilla server, and that's just mostly because everybody's got the world buffs. Like they go through Dire Maul, they go through everything, and then they use the Chrono Boom Displacer to basically store every single world buff. Then they go into the raid and say, okay, let's pop the Chrono Boom, and everybody has every buff. It's stupid. And also, by doing this and removing this, you save so much time. Like, there's so much time invested in having to travel to different places in the world to make sure you have all the buffs. So it's time consuming. So that's a really good thing, removing that. I like that a lot. And then, we're getting down to just the instances. They've overhauled Deadmines. They've done a complete ground up remake of the Wailing Cavern. So these dungeons are going to be completely redone. And actually the Deadmines overhaul looks amazing. I haven't played it yet, but I'm super excited to do that. Scarlet Monastery has received a visual tweak restoring the textures to WoW Alpha state. That's really interesting because I don't know what the Scarlet Monastery textures look like in Alpha, even though I played World of Warcraft. I played the beta. I never played the Alpha. I think I played a closed beta of WoW back in 2004. I don't think that was technically an alpha. So I'll have to Google that later to see what those actually look like. Dire Maul removed as a dungeon. That's no skin off my neck. I don't like Dire Maul. Stone Talon Caverns, they're basically, it's another new dungeon that they're adding Stone Talon. That's cool. Tol Barad Island can be found in the world south of South Shore in Barradin Bay. This will serve as level 60 max level dungeon at launch, so there's another new dungeon, which is cool. And then various other new instance portals can be found throughout the world that are hinting at future content. So, these are reworked mechanics. They've gone through these dungeons and just reworked some of the mechanics. So these are going to be the same dungeons you're used to, but they're going to be different in whatever ways they've reworked them. And then Nixia's Lair has 2 new bosses. Molten Core's got some new mechanics, new loot, and okay. And then I'm not going to read through all this. Locations. Oh, this is pretty good, though. Outlet has been removed. Northrend has been removed. So you're not going into these other areas. It's just vanilla zones. And I'm not going to read through. You guys can check this out. I don't know if I put the link. I'll put the link in the stream description. You guys want to go there and you can just... I'm sure all you guys are savvy enough to be able to just Google it or just pull it up. Project Epoch. Custom content. The other thing that's interesting is in the creature section here, they removed any creature spawns that were added in TBC or later, with the exception of a few that were used for custom quests. That's interesting. Also, restored any creatures that were removed. It's weird they said removed any creature spawns that were added in TBC, but restored any creatures that were removed in TBC onwards. I'm not really sure what that means. You can't read, Reptilian? What's up, dude? I'm not really sure what that... I mean, I guess what that means is, like, restored any creatures that were removed in TBC hours. So basically, if there were creatures in Vanilla WoW that got removed from Vanilla WoW in TBC or later versions, those were restored. So everything that we're used to seeing in Vanilla should still be there. Remove various creatures that came in later Vanilla's lifespan until they're needed, their relevant content unlocked. Updated the hostility names, damage level, 1,000 creatures of the world to match a vanilla state. Okay, new micro world bosses. Okay, so there's Silith the Lurker, Corrupted Ancient, that's cool. Volcon race has been upgraded to a full-fledged world boss, that's cool. Looting chests, interesting. So restored Zorban Fandazzle, I don't know what that is. Arena Team Charter added, that's cool. Arena Q, that's cool. So we're going to have arenas, that's amazing. Hundreds of new NPCs and creatures have been added to the world. Updated visuals. New custom voice acting. So here, like, the following families of beasts and creatures have been given new abilities to make the world more challenging. So some of these creatures that are in the world are going to be stronger than they were in regular vanilla. So that's interesting. One of the things that I was wondering is, are there going to be new pets for hunters to tame? It sounds like maybe not, because they said that any of the creatures that were added in TBC have been removed. So, but they said with an exception of some that were there to facilitate custom quests. So it's quite possible there might be some creatures in the game that are left over from TBC for custom quests that might be tameable by hunters. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see. And then new rare creatures have been added to the following zones. So again, if they've added new rare creatures, again, it could be stuff, since I'm probably going to play a hunter, it'd be pretty cool to see if any of these are new hunters, mobs that we can tame for our hunter pets. And then they've got transports and taxis. There's a new taxi path node. There's like a cart transportation service where you can ride a cart, That's interesting, I guess. Not a huge deal, but some people like that stuff. Time will visually travel faster for all players. A full day-night cycle takes approximately 3 hours. I like this. And three hours is pretty good. I mean, I've played games where the day-night cycle is half an hour. I think 3 hours is a little bit... It's okay. I guess, yeah, that's okay. I think 3 hours is pretty good. I've played on, I think Black Desert Online is probably like 30 minutes to an hour for the day-night cycle. But I know I've played MMOs where it was around 3 hours, though. But definitely better than... I don't like how Vanilla WoW was like, basically just matches your local cycle or whatever. Too long. This includes things like night events, such as Pirate Village, activating much more often, which is cool. We've included new quests associated with day-night. That's awesome. And they've also added NPCs using torches at night, which is great. I'm hoping that night's darker than it normally is in vanilla, but I haven't seen anything that says they're going to do that. Items, hundreds of new armor, stats, mount speeds scaled by your learned riding skill. This was an interesting change. The Wolf's Head Helm no longer grants 20 energy when entering cat form. That's going to piss off a lot of people, actually, I think. Because now it grants 39 feral attack power. So that might make some people mad. Any item that was added in TBC or beyond should no longer drop from chest creatures. And then you get down to professions. They've added more trainers throughout the world. Actually, it's interesting. They added more mining nodes in Teldrassil, which is interesting because Teldrassil never has a lot of mining nodes. If you want to be a miner, you never start off in Teldrassil. This is stupid, you know. Since it's that's true. That's true. You think it's healthy? Yeah. Oh, actually, I see what you're saying because it is BIS. That'll make it so that it's not BIS. Yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that. That's actually a good point. Although they're going to have new loot and gear they're adding, so it might not have been BIS forever. But I understand. But I can see what you're saying there. That's a good point. Mine does require multiple taps, just like vanilla, which is cool. I like that. Various new recipes. Although, you know, honestly, they could have left it with one tap. Honestly, if I had to take a vote on this, I think most people would probably prefer that mining nodes were one tap. What do you guys think? Do you like hitting the mining node 3 or 4 times, or would you rather just hit it once? Personally, myself, I'd rather just hit it once. So, various new recipes have been added, so that's cool. And then they've added some effects, profession effects. Yeah, one tap. Like alchemy, you receive 100% increased duration, 20% increased effect from elixirs and flasks. So basically, different professions, you're going to get some bonuses. The one that I saw that I really liked was, since I like to play tanky tunes, it was the mining one, I think. This one. Made of metal. All your hard work spent mining has made you exceptionally tough, increasing your total health. And it has 5 ranks. So, honestly, that's a cool one. That's one of my favorite ones. New profession bags have been added for fishing, leatherworking, mining. That's cool. As a foundation for our PvP changes, we strongly recommend reading the news posts. Okay. Battlegrounds, except working ghosts, are disabled until the call to war patch arrives. Okay. And then the new battleground, which is out in Stranglethorn Vale. Based on the Eye of the Storm base gameplay with terrain edits. Okay, reorganize. I like Eye of the Storm. Well, I have a love-hate relationship with Eye of the Storm. Reorganize Storm and Orgrimmar PvP halls, restoring the original appearance. That's cool. I like that. New weekly quest available. Rewards large amount of experience and reputation. I like that. A new outdoor timed battlefield event to take control of a central tower within Hillsbrad is now available. Rewarding the winning faction with bonus experience and reputation. That's actually pretty cool. And gives access. Again, this is what I was talking about. If you want to get people to do stuff in an MMO, give them something like this. Give them a reason. Like, for example, one of the things that I was always mad was in Burning Crusade in Nagrand. I was always kind of mad that the central area, that people didn't do more PvP around that central area in Nagrand, because there were specific vendors there that you could interact with. The problem was the stuff they gave those specific vendors wasn't appealing enough. You have to make these exclusive vendors have stuff that's appealing. And one of the things you could do, especially if you want to do it for a PvP event, is give the exclusive vendors like cosmetic tabard, like a cosmetic tabard, or some sort of, or maybe some food, maybe some buff food that's way better than like buff food you would get from crafting, you know, at a lower level. You know, just stuff that's good. You know, gives them a really good reason to want to get access to these vendors. More blah, blah, blah. The majority of the quests that were added in TBC are later removed for a handful of exceptions. A large number of quests originally came later in vanilla have been brought forward to launch here. Okay, new reputations rewards have been added. That's cool. We got some reputation rewards in these different areas. I think that's great. I think reputation rewards are always fun. I think because you get reputation just by playing the game. You know what I mean? You get reputation by doing quests. You get reputation by going through dungeons and killing bosses, or doing PvP. So just to have kind of like almost like this ancillary or after effect of bonus is kind of nice. So hundreds of new quests. Yeah. There was another thing. Added new quests for unlocking your level 40 mount. These will grant you the mount for free, but riding skill has a cost. Okay, that's interesting. A variety of new dungeon quests have been added. Removed hundreds of achievements from the game that can't be achieved or aren't relevant in the vanilla world. So these are just back, pulling stuff out. Restructured groups with achievements pane, various remaining achievements. Let's take a look at the interface. Replace the Revelation King character creation and login screens with vanilla. Racial abilities are housed within the new spellbook tab. That's cool. Added a global world chat channel. Okay, we don't really... Yeah, whatever. Added PvP shapeshift. This is just going to be a cesspool. Added... Well, maybe not on a private server. Added PvP shapeshift markers display when various forms are in use clearly. That's kind of cool, I guess. Hit chance, not reason, future chance to hit. And crit chance, not reason, future chance to get crew strike. Okay, other various skill tips updated. Minimap now displays an approximation of the current game time. Character pan has received a functional rewrite to better display TBC appropriate stats. That's good. That'll make it so people don't have to install add-ons. Hid any references to Blood Elves Draenei. Okay. People will still be digging around trying to find something that they missed. I'm sure they missed something, right? You think yeah, the store was a great as of yeah, I think so too. All quest map points of interest have been removed. Read quests. All quest map points of interest have been removed. Read quests. That's interesting. That's interesting. I wonder how that's going to work. So one of my biggest questions is like, we have to figure out what add-ons are even going to work. I mean, we know we have an add-on section in their Discord. Like if you go to their Discord, there is an add-ons section. Now I don't know if this is just a community thing, you know. So here people are like linking like, I think I've been to this. They're linking the because it is a 3.3.5 client. So theoretically, those are the add-ons you're going to want to try to use, but we don't know. I'm going to go ahead and bookmark this one. But we don't know, like, we don't know which ones are going to work, which ones not, because they're heavily modifying this game. So it's going to be like trial and error of going through and trying stuff. Like if I go to, do I have it still up? Let's go back to the launcher real quick. My client, I'm pretty sure, is from Warmain. I'm pretty sure mine's a Warmain client. Whenever I get a 3.35 client, I just go to Warmain. Here, Actually, let me, you can see here I've already reserved some names, and I already have a human hunter. A human hunter? All right, so let's go. Yeah, so this is my Warman. You can see I've got Ice Crown and stuff. So I probably already have a pretty decent listing of add-ons that I use. Not a lot, because I don't use a ton of add-ons, but I've got some. I don't use Expert anymore, but I got some in here that I'll use, and we'll see if they work. We'll see. We'll have to test them out. So it's out Friday. It's out Friday. You want them to have that. I want them to have that troll that spawns in the middle of AV and all that cool stuff from vanilla. Yeah, that'd be the old stuff. That's like the old stuff. Yeah. It's not... Well, I don't... Reptilian, are you like in Europe or something? It's not out tomorrow, unless you miss... It's out Friday. It's out Friday, the 5th. Like if you go to... let's see. No, I think you might have... I think I posted 4th in my Discord and then realized my mistake. That was like some patch thing. So if you read that from my Discord, I apologize. I updated it. It's correct now. If you go to the announcements here, yeah, it's 2 a.m. Thursday. Yeah, it wasn't my fault. Yeah, if you go here, it says here, Beta 3 will begin on April 5th, 2024. But there was somewhere in here where they listed the 4th, and that's where I got confused a little bit. Here, yeah. See here, they said Thursday, April 4th. I just saw that and thought that was the date, but it's the final patch will be pushed alongside final release notes on Thursday. The Realm will go fully live on Friday. And if you go to this Discord server, this is something cool that Discord does. It automatically shows the time based on your time zone, on where your client is. So this time will be different for you. If you're in Europe, this is going to be a different time in the Discord here, which is cool. I didn't know Discord did that, so that's neat. But for me, Friday at 2 p.m. So I work Friday, so you won't see me online until like, later. Like I'll be online around, I don't know, 7 or something. So... But, yeah, so this is going to be a fun little game to play, though. Hit any references to Blood Elves and Draenei in the UI. So, we're going to have to see if we can find, like, some stuff they've missed, as far as, like, Blood Elves and Draenei. Because it is a Wrath client. So that's going to be fun to see if we can see what they... I bet you there's stuff. They couldn't have possibly caught everything, right? Oh, me world first. I'm never world first anything. You know me, I'm very... I play MMOs at my own pace, which is to say slow. But I am I'm very skilled at MMOs. I just play at my own pace. I don't like to rush stuff. I like to enjoy my time and just kind of play for fun. But yeah, some pretty good stuff. I think it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, we'll see how. I mean, they did say there's going to be there are a lot of new recipes have been added, and they said there's a lot of stuff. They said they've added Following Professions now have associated profession bonus to encourage a broad range of profession usage. So that's cool. But they do say they've added a lot of new recipes. It says various new recipes have been added for the following professions. I wonder how many though. Like, we all know that that crafting in vanilla WoW was pretty crappy if you really think about it. I mean, the crafting's cool and that what is there is cool, but there's just not enough. I mean, for example, if you're like a blacksmith, you can't even make can you even make a bow? Like, can you make a bow? Can any profession just make a bow? I don't think there's a single profession in vanilla where you can just craft a bow. I mean, how stupid is that? Or craft a crossbow. I mean, every weapon type should be craftable. That's just a given, right? So it's just this. And then there's also very little. Like if you're, like for example, like another one is like bracers. There's very few bracers you can craft. Like mail bracers or plate bracers. Very few. It's mostly like chest pieces and leg pieces and boots and maybe shoulders. And then there's very few helms that you can craft. There's a few, but not very many. There's not very many shoulders either. So it's just really the crafting felt like it was rushed. The original game felt like crafting was rushed quite a bit. So, but yeah, so it comes out Friday. So I think it'll be interesting. I'm hoping it's good, but I'm not going to assume that it's going to be good. Someone here said they'd played the previous beta. So I think it was it you, Christopher, who said that? So yeah, we'll see. We'll just have to see.
Tis a ladder. Shall we see where it leads?
Shall we see where it leads? Come on, Mogi. Where's the ladder? Oh. So, I don't know. I think I asked a question. No, I think the last question I asked was just around the talent calculator. And they said they're not going to have a talent calculator yet. So we'll have to see.
This is for you, Master. I thought it might come in useful.
What is she giving me?
I've a knack for gathering items, and am ever on the hunt for new finds. I'll gladly try out any useful mechanisms I espy.
Oh, I wanted to play something for you, Reptilian. I don't know if you're still there. You guys know that I'm very picky about my keybinds. So I was playing, Dragon's Dogma 2. I just want you guys to hear what Wolfheart had to say about keybinds.
Was messing up my controller a little bit at random. PC. A gaming laptop was not the greatest ever, but still playable because of other redeeming qualities that the game has. I only experienced a few minor bugs, but I've also haven't really experienced a ton of the game. I've just been hanging out in the earlier areas, exploring everything. My mouse was messing up my controller a little bit at random times, but that might be something on my end. And when you start the game, it does tell you that controller is recommended, and after playing with mouse and keyboard, I can understand why they...
Because I'm a hardcore mouse and keyboard player. I don't use a controller for anything. I don't play consoles. Fuck that shit. I am a hardcore PC gamer. I always have been.
You're saying this. If all I had was mouse and keyboard, I would still play the game, but I'd be lying to you if I didn't tell you that my controller experience was just simply better. The main problem with mouse and keyboard was getting your character to face the correct direction using WASD. In this game, Capcom doesn't play around, and let's say that you're playing as a fighter, you can't hold down block and hold your shield up and expect to block everything that comes at you. You have to be facing the opponent that is attacking you, and this does require some precision. Or even when you're attacking yourself with a weapon, this game requires that you're somewhat deliberate with your aim. With mouse and keyboard, this means that you have to practice your WASD keys. Your mouse doesn't determine your aim. So I had to keep telling myself to be much more deliberate when I press WAS and D.
And he goes on to talk about how like the default keybinds for mouse and keyboard were kind of like, he didn't say shitty, but basically he wanted to say shitty. They basically were shitty. They didn't make a lot of sense. He basically said the default keybinds, you're like stretching, you're like reaching in these really awkward, positions. For example, one of the default keybinds, and I've changed that for Dragon's Dogma, was, and I don't know if we can I release the cursor? So you can see here, my impale is mouse button 5, is mouse button 4, right? Mouse button 4. You can see it down here, mouse button 4. But by default, it was like V, I think. Like if I want to do control and hit like one of my abilities, it was actually like V. And I don't know about you guys. I don't want to do control V, or I never liked that. So, but yeah, blocking is a little bit tricky because what happens is once you start to block, you can't turn. Like when you turn, the camera turns, but you don't turn. You're not really turning your block too much, So what you have to do is you kind of have to, it's weird. I mean, you kind of have to be careful with where you're facing, there is something in the UI that says you can do something to move your block in the keybind section, but I couldn't get it to work. I think it was, I thought I saw something in here around that. Here. Change shield direction, shift. But I don't think I got this to work. So if I'm holding my right mouse, so shift. See, like shift, I mean, shift doesn't do any. It even says in the bottom right corner of my screen, it says change shield direction. Well, it's not changing my shield direction, so I don't really understand how that works. So anyways, yeah. Anyway, that's not Project Epoch, so that's not what this video is about. So, but anyways, yeah, the change shield direction doesn't. I don't know. I'm gonna do some research on that and see. I must be doing something wrong, or it doesn't work. Either it doesn't work, or I'm doing something wrong. It's probably the latter. I'm probably doing something wrong. But anyways, Project Epoch comes out Friday. I definitely will be playing it, and like I said, I hope it's good. We'll find out. I am pretty excited about the fact that it is on the Wrath 3.3.5 client. I think that's a great move on their part, and the fact that they're moving the experience rates and stuff back to vanilla. So the leveling speed should feel like vanilla leveling speed. And we've got the Burning Crusade talent calculator, which is cool, right? So TBC, man, you can see how much this impacts my performance on my computer. Like when I'm playing Dragon, the gameplay is great, but when I bring up Windows, like browser windows and stuff, they're not, their performance takes a hit. But let's say like Hunter, for example, TBC Hunter. So some differences. I mean, in TBC Hunter, like Hawkeye, this is not a talent you would see in vanilla. In fact, I think Hawkeye's in marksmanship, if it even exists in vanilla. I don't really remember. What else? These are the ones that are all pretty much the same. This one, though, is pretty cool. Survival Instincts. Reduces all damage you take, and also increases your attack power by 2%, so that's a pretty cool one. And then, of course, we've got Resourcefulness, reduce the mana cost of traps and melee abilities. And, of course, we've got Thrill of the Hunt, another mana regeneration type ability. And we also have Exposed Weakness. So there's some different ones in here. And also Readiness and Master Tactician. These are all new ones that didn't exist in vanilla. So, and you're gonna have 61 talent points. So it's gonna be pretty interesting. I don't know if I would try to do like one of my melee hunter builds where I basically don't use ranged at all. In this, I think that would be interesting. I don't know. I'll have to look at. We have more talent points, so it might be doable. It might be doable. We'd probably do something like. Let's see. One thing I don't know is, and it didn't say it, but I'm sure that traps are still in combat, unfortunately. I'm going to put that out there for the moderator of the server. So. That? Did I spell his name wrong? But that's a big deal. I mean, because if traps aren't usable in combat, then actually going with improved feign death actually, besides just being a good thing to have, it's going to make your ability to drop traps more often. You're not going to get resisted, so you'll be able to get your traps off more often in combat. So that's a good thing. And then of course we could go with Killer Instinct. Increases your crit strike, and counterattack. It's okay. It's very niche. I definitely like Survival Instincts. Trust me abilities. Reduce the cooldown. I definitely like reduce the cooldowns, but it's not really like reduce the cooldowns isn't that big a deal. That your trap cooldown in vanilla is already it's like 15 seconds or something. It's really short. So reducing the cooldown of your traps isn't that big a deal if you can't place the traps while in combat. Now I'm pretty sure that in TBC you could place traps in combat, and I think you guys might have to remind me on that. You might have to verify that for me. But if you could, then reducing the cooldown of your traps, of course, is great, because then you can, while in combat, you'll be able to drop your traps more often. And then really the mana also ties into that, because if you've ever played vanilla WoW, you'll burn through your mana pretty quickly if you're placing traps. If you're feigning death to drop traps in vanilla, you use a lot of mana. And like typically in one pull in a dungeon with my survival hunter or melee hunter, I'll blow through my mana bar in one fight pretty quickly. So having this reduced mana is actually a good thing. Wait, hold on, I gotta check my Bitcoin. It either went up or down. Oh, okay, well, it kind of went up a little bit. Buy Bitcoin, everybody. Buy your Bitcoin. All right. Lightning reflexes, good. If we're gonna do melee hunter, we won't grab that, and we won't grab that, and we're not gonna have that, which means we won't be able to get down here without grabbing some other. Requires 35 points, so let's see, what else can we get? Do we want... I guess we can do Trap Mastery. And your successful ranged attacks, again, doesn't do us any good. So if we were going like melee only, this would be kind of probably what I would grab. So that's still going to leave us 26 talent points. Then we're looking at probably, unfortunately, Beast Mastery, because I don't know, unless we just waste points in these to get to other stuff. But all these are ranged, so they're pretty much like, I mean, this is nice, but again, it's ranged base, so yeah, marksmanship's a waste. All damage caused by you is increased by 1% while your pet is active, and the critical strike chance of your kill command. Okay, so this is actually usable for melee hunter. And that. What do we got? 12 talent points left. One talent point left. So this would be like just doing it really quickly. If I was going to do a melee only without like no range at all, I would do something like this. And it definitely would be better than the vanilla melee hunter, because we do have some additional new abilities, like like the survival instincts, the resourcefulness. But that's about it. Unfortunately, it's not a lot of other stuff. Yeah. So. Okay, so they are not reverting that. I was reading the custom content notes. Was not sure if it would be reverted out. So it looks like we're in good shape. It looks like you can. So he says, so it was added in TBC. It's a 2-second cast time. That's not a big deal. Oh, that's awesome. So this is awesome. So okay, we're that's a huge deal. That's like a huge deal, especially for melee hunter. If we want to go melee only, then definitely this ability here is going to be really huge for us. Resourcefulness is going to be great. So we're going to be able to drop traps a lot. Now for PvP, even as a melee hunter, we could be pretty good. And actually, since that's the case, I would actually probably be tempted to talent point into Trap Mastery, and man, I'd be tempted to get Entrapment. Do we have a snake trap in vanilla in Oh shit, snake trap. Okay, if we have snake trap, the snake trap's nice. Giving snake trap a chance to entrap tries could be really good. So we could do, it'd be really funny. We could do a melee only hunter and try to do PvP with them and see how well we could compete. It would be interesting. Yeah, so yeah, I mean think about that though. Think about that. With a melee hunter, we'd be really basing a lot of our damage on our traps. We'd be trying to get people into our traps a lot. We would be fighting up close, so we'd really want to spec a lot of agility. How much are we getting out of dodge? Oh, see, we're only increasing the dodge bonus. You aspect the monkey by 6%. What was it in vanilla, though? Do you guys remember? Was it 5% in vanilla? I think it was 5, right? So it's actually more. Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. That's another benefit. Okay, so we're gonna get 6% on our dodge. So if we push agility, like really, we might want to go enchanting just so we can do our own enchants. But if we push agility with lightning reflexes, remember it increases your agility by 15%. So we're really gonna feed into lightning reflexes, because what we're looking to do here was we really want to have a high crit rate, but we also want to have a really, really high dodge rate. I don't remember if TBC also does dodge, parry, and what is it? Dodge, parry with agility. I think it's still there in TBC. I hope. Let's take a look. WoW, Burning Crusade, stats, and their effects. I don't know how to really find this. Here we go. Overview of stats for Burning Crusade. So what we're really looking for, we want to look at agility.
What am I to do if my audience is tumbling?
Here we go. Agility increases range and melee attack power, increases armor rating, increases dodge chance, and increases critical strike. So it doesn't increase our parry anymore, which I believe it did in vanilla. But it does increase our armor rating, so that's kind of a decent extra benefit out of it. Which that was removed. I think it was at one point. Wow, I think that increasing armor was removed. So yeah, definitely we'll try it out. I think what we'll do is we'll do a melee only hunter, and we're really gonna try to push agility as far as we can take it. We only have a month though in the beta, but if we could get a melee hunter up pretty high level, and we could do some battlegrounds with a melee hunter, it'd be really interesting just to see like what the gameplay would be like. We're still gonna have intimidation. So between our traps and our intimidation, we should be able to control people fairly well. The bad downside is if we're going up against ranged people and we can't get to them. That's where we're gonna be in. That's where we're gonna get destroyed. Yeah. That's the problem. That was really what one of the things when I talked about Melee Hunter, and the reason Melee Hunter was so good in the Battle for Azeroth and expansions after that is they added Harpoon. You know, you really need Harpoon to make a Melee Hunter effective, because you have to have a way to engage the target. You know, without any kind of a way to get in close to the target, and without having a way to get away from the target like quickly, Melee Hunter really falls flat on its face. So for PvP purposes, Melee Hunter will probably do pretty poorly, just simply because you're so kiteable. Now, against melee classes, you'll be okay. Against, like, you know, warriors, against rogues and stuff. I actually, when I played Burning Crusade, I did a survival build with a ranged survival build. And I really pushed agility. And I used to duel my brother, who was a really, really good rogue on the server. He was one of the best rogues on the server. And I used to duel him with my hunter, and I would beat him probably about 70% of the time. And it's just because with monkey up, my like dodge was like 45%, and my parry was also very high. So even when he got on me and was hitting me, unless I was stunned, I was dodging and parrying a lot of the abilities. And I would even dodge a lot of the cheap shots and stuff. I would dodge some of his stuff. So he would miss out on openers and stuns because I was dodging stuff. So so it's good against melee. So yeah, I'm just really concerned that against a ranged class that we really would be in a lot of trouble. We probably would have to use our pet to stun, and then get in close and throw down a frost trap, a slow trap. Or a snake trap. I think a snake also, I believe, has a slow effect on it. I hope. I don't know. TBC doesn't have glyphs, right? Glyphs were introduced in Wrath. Were glyphs? I don't remember. World of Warcraft. Burning Crusade. Yeah, there's no glyphs in Burning Crusade. Hunter skills. Yeah, glyphs for Wrath.
What am I to do if my audience is tumbled? I'm in fine fettle today.
Alright, so snake trap. Place a trap that will release several venomous snakes to attack. The snakes will die. The trap, but it doesn't have any kind of a slowness to it. That sucks. That really sucks. 30-second. Oh, so they increase the cooldown. So it's a 30-second cooldown on traps. Ooh. Why am I getting all this weird shit like kill command? This is not vanilla. This is Season Discovery. Fuck your Season Discovery.
Lots to be taken care of before the day's done.
Well, that's a crappy freaking website.
Time to be heading home. A chance to put my feet up is as welcome as fine
Come
ale.
rain or shine, I'll make the best of it. I've got to focus. The shift's only just begun. The hours seem to fly when
Oh wow, this is like classic. Yeah, see, that's what I was talking about. See, that's why I was saying that cooldown wasn't a big deal. In vanilla, traps were only a 15-second cooldown. I didn't realize that in TBC, they've actually changed it up to 30 seconds. So that's a big deal, which is also why the talent, why you need this talent so badly. You got to reduce the cooldown of your traps. That's only going to get it down to 24 seconds, so you're still nowhere near as low as what it was in vanilla. In vanilla, it was only 15 seconds. So that, I mean, that's going to be a must. So I'm thinking we probably won't do a melee only hunter. We'll probably still do a ranged hunter just because we're going to want to do PvP and we're going to want to be able to be viable in PvP. So, but we will focus still on a melee playstyle. We'll just throw in a few ranged abilities to help us get in on those casters. So we're going to need be using stuff like Wyvern Sting, which is going to help us, and then we're probably going to push. We'll be using obviously Serpent Sting. We're using stings to and maybe Mana Stings, Viper Stings and stuff to maybe drain them. I don't know. We'll have to see. I have to play around with that stuff, and if we can get into even like Scattershot, but then of course we're going to be losing out on Intimidation. So yeah, I'll play around with these talents and see what I can come up with. There's probably some various builds we can try. But anyways, I'm going to stop the stream here because I've kind of talked about what I wanted to talk about. Thank you. Yeah, I kind of talked about what I wanted to talk about, for Project Epoch. I think it looks like it's going to be interesting. So definitely going to play it this Friday. And until then, I'll probably just be playing a little, oops. I'll probably just be playing a little bit of Dragon's Dogma. The Dogma.
are plentiful hereabouts.
Yeah. Ooh, I wonder if there's like a shield I can get. No. Ooh, copper ore. All right. Yeah, you guys take it easy. Take it easy, Ripsane. Everybody, thanks for stopping by. We'll do some. Like I said, we'll stream on Friday night, Project Epoch, and if it's really fun, we'll continue. I'll stream it for the whole 30 days because they said it's going to be up for a month. So if it's fun and I'm enjoying it, I'll try to stream the entire 30 days and see what content we can clear. And but I'll catch you guys later. I'm going to get something to eat, and actually I didn't realize it was already 9 o'clock. But I'll catch you guys later, man.